Word spread fast. By the end of the first week, Hana's small group of 6 had grown to 12. By the second week, 20 aliens were showing up to the training sessions. They came from different species, different backgrounds, different reasons. Some wanted to understand human combat. Others wanted to prove they could learn it. A few just wanted to be able to say they'd trained with the human who'd knocked down Vexthal. Hana taught them all. She showed them strikes and blocks, throws and sweeps, how to use an opponent's strength against them, how to move without thinking, how to react instead of respond. The aliens struggled with some concepts. The idea of fighting without announcing your moves felt wrong to them, dishonorable. But slowly they began to understand. In real danger, honor meant nothing. Survival meant everything. Dane and Mira started helping. Dane was good at breaking down techniques into simple steps. Mira analyzed the biomechanics, helping alien cadets adapt human movements to their different body types. The training hall became a strange place. Humans and aliens working together, sweating together, learning together. The boundaries were breaking down, but not everyone was happy about it. Hana was walking back to her dorm after a late training session when she heard footsteps behind her. Heavy footsteps. Multiple sets. She turned around. 5 alien cadets stood there. They were big, aggressive. She recognized the species, Bruthan. They were known for their size and strength. Each one was at least 7 feet tall and built like a tank. The human, one of them said. His voice was deep and rough. "We want to talk, so talk," Hana said. She kept her voice calm, but her body was already tensing. "Getting ready. You're causing problems," the Bruthan said. "Teaching our cadets your savage fighting. Making them forget proper combat protocols." "I'm teaching volunteers," Hana said. "Nobody has to come if they don't want to." "You're corrupting them," another Bruthan growled. "Making them think violence is acceptable. That honor doesn't matter." "I never said honor doesn't matter," Hana said. "I said survival matters more." "Savage thinking," the first Bruthan said. He stepped closer. The others spread out, surrounding her. "Your kind doesn't belong here. You should go back to your death world and leave civilized space to civilized beings." Hana's heart was pounding, but she kept her face neutral. "If you have a complaint, take it to Commandant Thrace. I'm sure the board would love to hear it." "We don't need the board," the Bruthan said. "We just need you to understand your place." He reached out to grab her shoulder. A threatening gesture, meant to intimidate. Hana moved. Not to strike, not to fight, just to step back out of reach. "Don't touch me," she said quietly. "Or what?" The Bruthan laughed. "You'll knock me down like you did Vexthal? You got lucky once, human. That won't happen again." "I don't want to fight you," Hana said. "Just let me go to my dorm. After you learn your lesson." The Bruthan reached for her again. This time Hana didn't step back. She couldn't. The other 4 had moved in behind her. She was surrounded. Time slowed down. Hana saw the hand coming, saw the fingers reaching, saw the intent in the Bruthan's eyes. He wasn't going to hit her, not yet, but he was going to grab her, hurt her, teach her that lesson they kept talking about. She had 2 choices: let them do it and hope they didn't go too far, or defend herself and prove them right about humans being violent. Neither choice was good. "Stop." The voice came from the shadows. Caden stepped into the light, his green scales gleaming. Behind him were Ven and 3 other aliens from Hana's training group. "This doesn't concern you, Sarek," the Bruthan said. "It concerns me when 5 cadets surround one," Caden said. His voice was calm but dangerous. "That's not a lesson. That's an ambush. She's corrupting our academy," the Bruthan insisted. "Teaching savagery." "She's teaching efficiency," Caden said. "There's a difference. But you wouldn't know that because you're too proud to learn." The Bruthan's face twisted with anger. "You defend this human? You've been corrupted too." "I've been educated," Caden corrected. "Now back away, or we'll have a different kind of lesson." The 5 Bruthans looked at the 6 aliens standing with Hana. They were outnumbered now. After a long moment, the lead Bruthan spat on the ground. "This isn't over," he said. Then he and his group walked away, their heavy footsteps echoing down the hall. Hana let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "Thank you," she said to Caden. "Don't thank me," Caden said. "I didn't do it for you. I did it because they were wrong." 5 against 1 is never honorable. "Still," Hana said, "you didn't have to help." "Yes, I did," Caden said. "You taught me something important. On Earth, you protect your training partners." "That's what you said. Well, you're my training partner now." Ven clicked his mandibles in agreement. We all are. Human and alien. We trained together. Hana felt something warm in her chest. Something like hope. The incident with the Bruthans was reported. Commandant Thrace called Hana in the next day. This is getting complicated, Thrace said. The crystal body pulsed with concerned patterns. You're dividing the academy. Some cadets support you. Others resent you. It's creating tension. I'm just teaching, Hana said. You're doing more than that, Thrace said. You're changing how people think about combat. About violence. About what it means to be a warrior. That's dangerous. Dangerous how? Ideas are dangerous, Thrace said. Especially new ideas. The galaxy has operated one way for centuries. Controlled violence. Predictable combat, safe wars. You're showing them something different. Something older and rawer. Not everyone likes that. Should I stop teaching? Hana asked. Thrace was quiet for a long moment. The light patterns shifted through every color Hana had ever seen and some she hadn't. No, Thrace finally said. I think you should do the opposite. I think you should make it official. A real class. Open to anyone who wants to attend. Make it part of the academy curriculum. Hana stared. Are you serious? Completely, Thrace said. We'll call it Practical Combat Studies. You'll teach it 3 times a week. Any cadet can attend. Dane and Mira can assist you. It will be graded like any other class. The board approved this. Some of them, Thrace said. Others argued against it. But I convinced them that it's better to embrace this change than resist it. Better to study human combat in a controlled environment than let it spread through underground training sessions. What about the cadets who hate me? Who think I'm corrupting the academy? They don't have to attend, Thrace said. But they'll have to acknowledge that what you're teaching has value. That human combat techniques are legitimate. That Earth has something to contribute to the galaxy. Hana thought about it. An official class. Real recognition. It was more than she'd hoped for. There's one condition, Thrace said. Of course there was. Instructor Vexthal has requested to observe your classes. Hana felt her stomach drop. Why? He says he wants to understand what happened. How you defeated him. He claims it's for professional development. Thrace's light patterns shifted to something skeptical. Personally, I think his pride is hurt and he wants to find a weakness. But I can't refuse. He's an instructor. He has the right to observe any class, so he'll just watch me. Looking for ways to prove I got lucky? Probably, Thrace said. Can you handle that? Hana thought about Vexthal. His yellow eyes. His forearms. His humiliation when she'd knocked him down. Having him watch her teach would be uncomfortable. Maybe even dangerous, but refusing would look weak, like she was afraid of him. I can handle it, she said. The first official Practical Combat Studies class was held in a large training hall. Over 50 cadets showed up. Some were from Hana's original training group. Others were new, curious, wanting to see what the fuss was about. And in the back, standing with his forearms crossed, was Instructor Vexthal. Hana tried to ignore him. She focused on the class, on teaching, on showing these aliens what human combat really was. She started with basics, stance, balance, awareness, then moved to simple techniques, how to fall safely, how to block, how to strike with efficiency. The alien cadets practiced. Some were good. Others struggled. Hana moved through the group, correcting form, offering advice, demonstrating when needed. All the while, she could feel Vexthal's eyes on her, watching, judging, waiting. Halfway through the class, she decided to demonstrate a throw. She called for a volunteer. Caden stepped forward. I'll do it. Hana showed the technique slowly. How to grip, how to turn, how to use leverage to throw someone larger than yourself. Caden let himself be thrown, hitting the mat with practiced ease. Good, Hana said. Now you try on me. Caden hesitated. Are you sure? You won't hurt me. Trust the technique. Caden did as she'd taught him. The throw wasn't perfect, but it worked. Hana hit the mat, rolled, and came up smoothly. See? She said to the class. Size doesn't matter if you use leverage correctly. A small opponent can throw a large one. It's physics. Interesting. Vexthal's voice boomed from the back. Everyone froze. But that only works if your opponent cooperates. In real combat, they won't. Hana turned to face him. You're right, instructor. In real combat, nothing is cooperative. That's why we practice. So the movements become automatic. Automatic, Vexthal said. He walked forward, his heavy steps making the floor vibrate. Like when you attacked me in my classroom? The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Every cadet was watching. 3 days passed. 3 long, strange days. Hana went to her classes. She sat in the back. She kept quiet. She tried to be invisible. It didn't work. Everywhere she went, cadets stared. Some moved away when she approached. Others watched her like she was a dangerous animal in a cage. The other human cadets stayed close. Dane walked with her to every class. Mira sat beside her at meals. Junyo and Bora formed a protective circle whenever they were in public spaces. They were a unit now. 5 humans against a galaxy that didn't know what to make of them. The instructors were different too, more careful. They called on the humans less often. When they did demonstrations, they kept their distance. Nobody wanted to be the next Vexthal, knocked down in front of the class. On the 4th day, Hana was summoned to a training hall she'd never seen before. It was smaller than the main gyms, tucked away in a corner of the combat building. The door was unmarked. Inside, she found Commandant Thrace waiting. The crystal being stood in the center of an empty room. The floor was padded. The walls were reinforced. It looked like a fighting space. Cadet Hana, Thrace said. Thank you for coming. You summoned me, Commandant. I didn't have much choice. True. Light patterns shifted through Thrace's body. I want to talk about what happened. Not as a commandant to a cadet. As one being to another. Hana wasn't sure what to say to that. She stood at attention, waiting. Sit, Thrace said, gesturing to the floor. The commandant's crystal form settled down into a sitting position, folding in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Hana sat cross-legged on the mat. Up close, Thrace was beautiful. The light inside moved in patterns that seemed almost alive. Do you understand why the board was so troubled? Thrace asked. Because I hit an instructor? No. Because you moved without thinking, without protocol, without hesitation. Thrace's voice was gentle. In galactic society, violence is controlled. We've spent thousands of years making it civilized, making it predictable, making it something that can be managed. But that's not how fighting works, Hana said. Not real fighting. Exactly, Thrace said. That's what frightens them. You reminded everyone that violence can be instant, unpredictable, deadly. You reminded them that all our protocols and civility are just a thin layer over something much darker. Hana thought about that. Is that bad? It's honest, Thrace said. And honesty makes people uncomfortable. Tell me about Earth combat training. How did you learn to move like that? Hana wasn't sure where this was going, but she answered. I started martial arts when I was 6. My parents wanted me to have discipline, confidence. I competed in tournaments, trained 6 days a week. When I was older, I studied other styles, boxing, judo, anything I could learn. Why? Thrace asked. Because I liked it. Because it made me feel strong. Because in a fight, you're completely present. No distractions. Just you and your opponent. And you never questioned the violence of it? Hana shrugged. It's not violence when there are rules. When both people agree, it's sport, competition, art even. But when Vexthal struck at you, there were no rules. No agreement. What was that? Survival, Hana said immediately. That's different, is it? Thrace asked. Your body didn't wait to decide. It reacted. The same movements you practiced as sport became weapons in an instant. Hana felt uncomfortable. Are you saying I was wrong to defend myself? No, Thrace said. I'm saying you've been trained to survive in a way most galactic species haven't. Your reflexes are honed by thousands of years of human evolution. You come from a world where everything wanted to kill you. Predators, other humans, the environment itself. You survived because you could fight better than anything else on your planet. We're not special, Hana said. We're just humans. That's exactly what makes you special, Thrace said. The light patterns shifted to something that might have been amusement. Other species evolved past physical violence early. They developed shields, energy weapons, advanced technology. They never needed to become efficient killers. But humans did. You perfected violence while still using primitive tools. Hana didn't like being called a killer. We're more than that. We have art, culture, philosophy. Of course, Thrace agreed. But your art includes martial arts. Your culture includes combat sports. Your philosophy includes concepts like warrior spirit and fighting heart. Violence is woven through everything you are. You make us sound like monsters. No, Thrace said firmly. I'm trying to help you understand how others see you. and how you might use that to your advantage. Hana looked up. What do you mean? Thrace stood, the crystal body flowing upward. Come with me. I want to show you something. They left the small training hall and walked through the academy. It was between classes, so the halls were full of cadets. They all stopped and stared when they saw Hana walking with the commandant. Thrace led her to an observation deck overlooking the main training fields. Below, hundreds of cadets were running through exercises. Some were practicing with energy weapons. Others were working on shield techniques. Everything was orderly, controlled, safe. Watch, Thrace said. Hana watched. The alien cadets moved well. They were strong, fast, coordinated. But there was something missing. Something she couldn't quite name. They're not fighting, Hana said suddenly. They're performing. Yes, Thrace said. Because they've never had to really fight. The galaxy has been at peace for 300 years. Combat is theoretical now, something studied in classrooms and practiced in safe environments. They know techniques, but they don't understand violence. When you think I do? I know you do, Thrace said. I saw the footage. Not just the classroom recording. We have sensors that track neural activity, hormone levels, response times. When Vexthal struck at you, your body went into a state we've never seen before. Your adrenaline spiked. Your perception accelerated. Your muscles moved with complete efficiency. You became a weapon in 0.7 seconds, Hana felt cold. You're studying me. Like an experiment. We're trying to understand you, Thrace corrected. Because if one human cadet can do what you did, what could trained human soldiers do? What could human warriors do in actual combat? Is that a threat? It's a question, Thrace said. And not just from me. Every military leader in the galaxy is asking it now. Earth has been treated as a curiosity, a primitive world with interesting but backward people. But you've changed that perception. I knocked down one instructor, that's all. You defeated a Kryn warrior in single combat without using weapons or technology. Do you know how rare that is? Kryn have been the galaxy's premier fighters for 10,000 years. They train from birth. They live for combat. And you? A human who's been in space for less than a month put one on his back before anyone could blink. Hana felt the weight of it settling on her shoulders. What do you want from me? Thrace turned to face her fully. I want you to teach. The Human Combat Studies program isn't just about understanding humans. It's about learning from them. I want you to show the other cadets how you think, how you move, how you fight. They hate me, Hana said. Half of them are scared of me. The other half want me gone. Then prove them wrong, Thrace said. Show them you're not a monster. Show them that human combat isn't just about violence. It's about discipline, respect, and survival. Make them understand. And if I can't, then Earth stays on the outside, Thrace said bluntly. A curiosity. A potential threat. Your species will be watched and contained. But if you succeed, if you can bridge this gap, then humanity becomes something more. A valued part of the galactic community. Hana looked down at the training fields, at all those alien cadets going through their safe, controlled exercises. She thought about Earth. About the 5 humans here carrying the weight of their entire species. When do I start? She asked. Tonight, Thrace said. I've arranged for a small group of volunteer cadets. 6 of them. They want to learn. Why would they volunteer? Everyone else avoids me. Because they're smart enough to recognize an opportunity, Thrace said. Because they saw what you can do and want to understand it. Because they're not afraid to challenge themselves. That evening, Hana went to the small training hall. She wore simple workout clothes, no shoes. She'd always trained barefoot when possible. 6 alien cadets were waiting. Hana recognized some of them from her classes. There was a Saurek, the lizard-like species with green scales. A Chithrax, tall and insect-like with 4 arms. 2 beings she didn't recognize. And 2 others that looked almost human but with blue-tinted skin and extra joints in their arms. They all stared at her as she entered. Thank you for coming, Hana said. Her voice sounded small in the quiet room. We didn't come to thank you, the Saurek said. His voice was a low hiss. We came to learn. I am Caden. This is my training group. I'm Hana. We know who you are, one of the blue-skinned aliens said. You're the human who defeated Instructor Vexthal. I defended myself, Hana corrected. That's different from defeating someone, is it? Caden asked. He ended up on the floor. You remained standing. That seems like defeat to me. Hana took a breath. Okay, what do you want to learn? Everything, the Chithrax said. His name was Ven. How you move so fast. how you identified his weakness, how you brought him down without using weapons, how you fought without honor, Caden added. There was no judgment in his voice, just curiosity. Hana's room felt smaller now, like a cage. She sat on her bed, staring at the wall, replaying the moment over and over in her mind. The strike. The sweep, the fall. It had happened so fast. Less than a second. Maybe 0.7 seconds from start to finish. She hadn't meant for it to happen, but her body had moved on its own. Years of training had taken over. When someone attacked, you defended. When someone was off balance, you followed through. Basic principles. Automatic responses. Except this wasn't a training hall on Earth. This was an alien military academy where she'd just knocked down an instructor in front of 200 witnesses. Knock on the door made her look up. "It's us," Dane's voice called. Hana opened the door. Dane and Mira rushed in. They looked worried and excited at the same time. "Are you okay?" Mira asked. "Did they hurt you?" "I'm fine," Hana said. "Just confined to quarters." "What's happening out there?" "Everyone's talking about it," Dane said. He was pacing, unable to stand still. "The whole academy knows. Some aliens are calling you dangerous. Others are saying Vexthal deserved it. It's chaos." Mira pulled out her tablet. "I got a copy of the classroom footage before they locked it down. Watch." She played the video. Hana watched herself standing in the center of the room. Watched Vexthal raise his arm. "Watch the strike come in fast and hard. See the speed?" Mira said. "That wasn't a demonstration. That was a real attack. He was trying to hurt you." The video showed Hana's response. The pivot. The sweep. The fall. Mira played it again in slow motion. 0.7 seconds, Mira said. From his strike to him hitting the floor. "You moved so fast the Academy sensors almost couldn't track it properly. Look at the motion blur here." Hana could see it. Her body was blurred in the video, moving faster than the camera expected. "How did you do that?" Dine asked. "I've seen you train, but this was different. This was like watching a machine." "I didn't think," Hana said quietly. "I just reacted." "That's what you're supposed to do." "On Earth, maybe," Mira said. "But these aliens don't fight like that. They announce their moves. They give warning. They follow protocols. What you did was pure combat reflex. They've never seen anything like it." There was another knock. Harder this time. "Official, Cadet Hana," a mechanical voice said. "You are summoned to appear before the Academy Board. Please come with us." Hana stood up. Dane grabbed her arm. "Do you want us to come?" "You can't," Hana said. "But thanks." She followed the security drones through the academy. It was late afternoon now. Classes had ended. Cadets were everywhere, and they all stopped to stare as Hana passed. Some looked afraid. Others looked curious. A few looked angry. The boardroom was in the central administration building. Hana had never been inside before. The halls were made of white stone that seemed to glow from within. Everything was quiet, clean, perfect. They entered a large circular chamber. At the center was a raised platform where Hana was told to stand. Around her in a circle sat the Academy Board, 7 members, 7 different species. Commandant Thrace sat at the highest position. The crystal body pulsed with calm, steady light. To the left was a Saurak with dark green scales. To the right was a Nebulon in its containment suit, the purple gas swirling inside. There were others Hana didn't recognize. "Cadet Hana," Thrace said. "You stand before this board to answer for striking Instructor Vexthal. Do you understand the severity of this accusation?" "Yes, Commandant," Hana said. "Do you deny that you struck him?" "No, Commandant. I don't deny it." Murmurs ran through the board members. One of them, a being made of what looked like living metal, leaned forward. "You admit to attacking an instructor?" The metal being asked. Its voice sounded like gears grinding. "I admit to defending myself," Hana corrected. "Instructor Vexthal struck at me first." "He was demonstrating technique," the Saurak board member said. His voice was a low hiss. "That is his role as an instructor." "With respect," Hana said, "the footage will show that his strike was not a demonstration. It was an attack." Bold words from a cadet, the metal being said. "You claim to know his intentions better than he does?" "I know what I saw," Hana said, "and what I felt. That strike was meant to hurt me." Thrace raised a crystalline hand. "We have reviewed the footage extensively. We have also consulted with combat analysis experts. The evidence is clear." The Commandant activated a hologram. It showed the classroom scene from multiple angles, Vexthal raising his arm. The strike coming in. Hana's response. Instructor Vexthal's strike was delivered at 70% of his maximum force, Thrace said. Against an unshielded human, this would have caused significant injury. Broken ribs at minimum, possibly internal damage. The Sorek board member shifted uncomfortably. The purple gas in the Nebulon's suit swirled faster. Furthermore, Thrace continued, he gave no verbal warning, no opportunity to raise defenses. By galactic combat protocols, this constitutes an unprovoked attack. But he's an instructor, another board member protested. This one looked like a floating brain in a glass container. Surely he has the right to demonstrate on students, not with intent to harm, Thrace said. The law is clear. Any strike delivered with potential to cause injury must be announced and consensual. Instructor Vexthal violated protocol. The board members looked at each other. Hana could see them communicating, probably through channels her translator couldn't pick up. However, Thrace said, turning back to Hana, your response was equally problematic. You struck an instructor. You caused him to fall. You damaged Academy property. The Commandant gestured to images of the cracked floor. I defended myself, Hana said again. What was I supposed to do? Let him hurt me? You could have dodged, the brain being said. Retreated. Called for help. Instead, you attacked. There was no time, Hana said. The strike was already coming. I had maybe half a second to respond. So you chose violence, the Sorek hissed. I chose survival, Hana shot back. On Earth, we call it self-defense. When someone attacks you, you stop them. That's basic. Earth, the metal being said with what sounded like disgust. A death world where violence is normalized. Perhaps this is why humans should not be here. Hana felt anger rising in her chest. Maybe, she said. Or maybe you've all forgotten what real combat is. You've made it so civilized, so controlled that you can't recognize an actual threat when you see one. Careful, Cadet, Thrace warned. You're already in serious trouble. Am I wrong? Hana asked. You saw the footage. You know he tried to hurt me. But because he's an instructor and I'm a human, I'm the one on trial here. The room fell silent. Hana realized she might have gone too far, but she was tired of being treated like she was weak, like she was less than the aliens around her. The board members conferred again. Their voices were low murmurs and strange sounds Hana couldn't interpret. Finally, Thrace spoke. This is our decision, the Commandant said. Instructor Vexthal violated combat protocols. He will be formally reprimanded and suspended from teaching duties for 1 month. Hana felt a small surge of relief. However, Thrace continued, you also violated Academy rules by striking an instructor. While we acknowledge that you were defending yourself, your response was disproportionate. You could have simply avoided the strike. I did avoid it, Hana said. The sweep came after, to make sure he couldn't attack again. Exactly, the brain being said. You escalated. You went beyond defense into offense. On Earth, we call that neutralizing the threat, Hana said. On Axiom Prime, we call it assault, the Sorek said. Thrace's light pulsed brighter, demanding silence. Cadet Hana, you will not be expelled. However, you will attend mandatory cultural sensitivity training. You must learn to understand that galactic combat is not the same as Earth combat. You cannot simply react with violence every time you feel threatened. So I'm supposed to let people hit me? Hana asked. You're supposed to follow protocols, Thrace said firmly. To announce your intentions. To give your opponent a chance to yield. To fight with honor. Hana wanted to argue that honor didn't matter when you were unconscious on the floor. But she bit her tongue. She'd already pushed enough. Furthermore, Thrace continued, the Academy will be implementing a new program, Human Combat Studies. We need to understand how your species fights. How you think. What drives your combat reflexes? You want to study us? Hana asked. We want to learn from you, Thrace corrected. Your response time was remarkable. Your technique was efficient. Your ability to identify and exploit a structural weakness in an unfamiliar species was impressive. These are valuable skills. The other board members didn't look happy about this, but they didn't argue. You will assist in developing this program, Thrace said, along with your academic and training duties. Consider it both a punishment and an opportunity. I understand, Commandant, Hana said. Do you? Thrace leaned forward. The crystal body seemed to study her. You've changed something here, Cadet Hana. The entire Academy is talking about what happened. Some see you as dangerous. Others see you as interesting. Either way, you've made humanity impossible to ignore. Hana thought about that, about Earth, about the 5 humans here representing their entire species, about how one moment of instinct had shifted everything. I didn't mean to, she said quietly. Intent doesn't matter, Thrace said, only results. You're dismissed. Return to your quarters. Classes will resume tomorrow. Try not to knock. The alarm woke Hana at dawn. She dressed quickly in her training uniform, a simple gray outfit that fit all the human cadets. It felt strange on her skin. Too smooth, too perfect. Like everything else on this planet, breakfast was in the main dining hall. Hana walked there with Diane and Mira. The hall was massive, with different sections for different species. Some aliens ate at regular tables, others floated near the ceiling with their food. One section was filled with a thick green liquid that some species apparently swam in while they ate. The human section had normal chairs and tables. The food was Earth-style, probably printed from downloaded recipes. Eggs and rice and vegetables. It tasted fine but felt wrong somehow. Too perfect again. First class is combat theory, Dane said, checking his tablet. Room 4A starts in 30 minutes. Who's teaching? Mira asked. Dane scrolled through the information. His face went pale. Instructor Vexthal. He's Kryn. Hana had read about the Kryn. They were one of the galaxy's warrior species. 8 feet tall, 4 arms covered in natural armor plating. They'd been fighting wars for thousands of years before humans even invented writing. Great, Mira muttered. A warrior species teaching combat to the species everyone thinks is weak. We'll be fine, Hana said. She didn't feel as confident as she sounded. They finished eating and headed to class. Room 4A was in the combat training building. The halls here were different from the dormitory. Wider, reinforced. The walls showed scars from past training sessions. The classroom was arranged in a circle, with seats rising up like an arena. At the center was a large open space. Hana took a seat between Dane and Mira. The other human cadets, Junho and Bora, sat nearby. Alien cadets filed in. Hana recognized some species from her studies. The tall insect-like ones were Chithraks. The ones that looked like walking lizards were Saurak. There were others she didn't know. All of them were bigger than the humans, stronger looking, more dangerous. The door at the front of the room opened. Instructor Vexthal walked in and Hana's breath caught. He was enormous. 8 feet of muscle and armor plate, with 4 thick arms that ended in 3-fingered hands. His head was wide and flat, with mandibles that clicked as he moved. His eyes were yellow and cold. Sit, he commanded. His voice was deep and harsh. The translator turned it into Korean, but Hana could hear the original language underneath. All clicks and growls, everyone sat fast. Vexthal walked to the center of the room. His footsteps were heavy. Each one made the floor vibrate slightly. I am Instructor Vexthal, he said. For the next 4 years, I will teach you combat theory. Most of you will fail. This is acceptable. Not every species is meant for combat. His yellow eyes scanned the room. They stopped on the human section. Hana felt like she was being examined by a predator. Combat in the modern galaxy is civilized, Vexthal continued. We use energy weapons, shields, proper protocols. We announce our intentions. We allow our opponents to yield. We fight with honor. He activated a hologram in the center of the room. It showed 2 aliens fighting. They moved slowly, calling out their attacks, giving each other time to defend. It looked more like a dance than a fight. This is proper combat, Vexthal said. Controlled, respectful, civilized. He deactivated the hologram and looked directly at the humans. Some species do not understand this, he said. Some species come from barbaric worlds where they hurt each other with their bare hands, where they fight without honor or protocol, where violence is random and brutal. Hana's jaw tightened. She knew exactly what he was talking about. The humans, Vexthal said, and the way he said it made it sound like an insult. From Earth. A death world where everything tries to kill everything else, where they invented thousands of ways to hurt each other before they even reached their own moon. Some of the alien cadets laughed. Others looked at the humans with disgust. Tell me, human, Vexthal said, pointing at Diane. Is it true your species practices hand-to-hand combat? Dane stood up slowly. Yes, Instructor. We have martial arts, boxing, wrestling, many fighting styles. Barbaric, Vexthal said, hitting each other with fists like animals. No wonder your species is so violent. So primitive. Dane's face went red, but he sat down without responding. Hana could see his hands shaking with anger. Earth history is filled with wars, Vextal continued. You fight over everything, land, resources, ideas. You can't seem to stop killing each other long enough to evolve properly. Hana felt heat rising in her chest. Her hands gripped the edge of her seat. You call yourselves warriors, Vextal said, but you're just barely evolved primates who learned to use tools. Playing with fire and calling it civilization. That's not fair, Bora said suddenly. Her voice was small but clear. We've built cities, art, culture. We've done more than just fight. Vextal turned to look at her. Have you? Your oldest city is what, 5,000 years? Some species here have civilizations older than your entire recorded history. You are children playing in the ruins of your own violence. He walked closer to the human section. Hana could see the muscles moving under his armor plating. Each of his forearms was as thick as her leg. Perhaps a demonstration is in order, Vextal said, to show the class exactly how fragile humans are. He looked directly at Hana. You, the female. Come down here. Hana's heart started pounding. Every instinct told her this was a trap. But she couldn't refuse. Not in front of everyone. Not on the first day. She stood up and walked down to the center of the room. The space felt too open, too exposed. She was suddenly very aware of how small she was compared to Vextal. Stand there, he commanded, pointing to a spot on the floor. Hana stood. She kept her face neutral, but her muscles were already tensing. Getting ready. I'm going to demonstrate proper strike technique, Vextal announced to the class. Watch carefully. A proper strike is announced. The opponent has time to raise shields or defend. There is no surprise. No dishonor. He raised one of his secondary arms, the smaller right one. It was still twice the size of Hana's arm. This is a basic push strike, he said, designed to create distance without causing serious harm. Against a shielded opponent, it would barely register. He looked down at Hana. His yellow eyes were cold. Humans don't use shields. Their fragile bodies rely on primitive armor at best, so even a gentle strike will demonstrate their weakness. Hana's mind was racing. This was wrong, all of it. He was going to hit her, to hurt her, to make an example of her in front of the entire class. I will use minimal force, Vextal said, just enough to push her back, to show how easily humans can be moved, controlled, defeated. The classroom was silent. Every alien was watching. Hana could see Dane half rising from his seat, but Mira pulled him back down. There was nothing he could do. Prepare yourself, human, Vextal said. One of his mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Hana took a breath. Her instructor back on Earth had taught her many things. Defense, offense, how to read an opponent. But the most important lesson was simpler. When someone tries to hurt you, you don't think. You react. Vextal's arm moved. Not slowly like in the demonstration hologram, fast, real speed. Coming straight at her chest, he was going to hit her. Hard. Maybe not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to send her flying. To break bones. To prove his point, time seemed to slow down. Hana saw the arm coming. Saw the angle. Saw the weight behind it. Her body was already moving before her brain caught up. 6 years of training took over. Muscle memory. Reflex. Survival instinct. She didn't try to block. You can't block something that much stronger than you. Instead, she moved, pivoted, let the strike pass through the space where she'd been standing. Vextal's eyes widened. Just a fraction. Surprise, Hana's center of gravity dropped. Her right leg swept out. Low, fast, targeting the side of his forward knee. She'd studied Kryn anatomy on the transport ship. She knew their armor plating was thick on the front and back but thinner on the sides. She knew their knees were a structural weak point. Her leg connected. Hard. Physics did the rest. Vextal was 8 feet tall and probably weighed 4 times what Hana did. But he was off balance, committed to his strike, moving forward. When his knee buckled sideways, all that weight and momentum turned against him. He fell, not slowly, not with control. He crashed down like a tree being cut, his forearms flailing, his armored body hitting the reinforced floor with a sound like thunder. The floor cracked. Actual cracks spiderwebbed out from the impact point. Hana stood over him, her body still coiled, ready to move again if needed. Her breathing was fast but controlled. Her hands were up in a guard position. The entire classroom was frozen. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Vexthal lay on his back staring up at the ceiling. His yellow eyes were wide with shock. Hana blinked, looked around, saw 200 alien faces staring at her with expressions ranging from terror to awe. What had she done? The silence stretched out. 1 second, 2, 3. Then chaos erupted. Alien cadets were on their feet. Some were shouting. Others were backing away. A few were reaching for weapons they weren't carrying. The Chithrax cadets made a high-pitched chittering sound that Hana's translator couldn't process. She attacked him. Unprovoked violence. "The human is dangerous." Vexthal rolled to his feet with surprising speed. His face was twisted with... The transport ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a shudder that made Hana grip her seat. Through the viewport, she could see Axiom Prime hanging in space like a blue-green jewel. The planet looked peaceful from up here. She wondered if it would feel the same way once they landed. "First time seeing it?" Dine asked from the seat beside her. His voice was calm, but Hana could hear the nervousness underneath. He was trying to sound confident and failing. "Yeah," Hana said. She pressed her hand against the cool glass of the viewport. "It's beautiful." "It's terrifying," said Mira from across the aisle. The other human woman was smaller than Hana, with sharp eyes that never stopped moving. "We're about to step into a school full of aliens who think we're weak." Hana couldn't argue with that. Earth had only made contact with the galactic community 3 years ago. In that time, humanity had learned one clear lesson: the galaxy didn't think much of them. Humans were new. Humans were primitive. Humans came from a heavy gravity world that most aliens considered a death trap. The other 2 human cadets were sleeping in the back of the transport. Hana didn't know them well yet. There were only 5 humans total heading to the Galactic Combat Academy. 5 humans among 200 cadets from dozens of different species. The ship began its descent. Hana watched the planet grow larger. She could see the academy now, a massive complex of silver buildings that sprawled across an island continent. It looked like something from a dream. Clean, perfect. Nothing like the crowded cities back on Earth. "Attention passengers," the ship's computer announced in flat, translated galactic standard. "We will land in 5 minutes. Please secure all belongings and remain seated." Hana checked her bag for the 3rd time. Everything was there. Her uniforms, her personal items, the small photo of her family that she'd promised her mother she would keep. She touched the photo gently, then sealed the bag. The landing was smooth. Too smooth. Earthship still shook and rattled when they came down. This felt like stepping off an elevator. The door opened with a hiss. Hana stood up, shouldered her bag, and followed Dane toward the exit. Mira was right behind her. The other 2 humans, Junho and Bora, stumbled along at the back, still half asleep. The air outside was perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. It smelled clean, like it had been filtered. Probably because it had been. Axiom Prime was a constructed world, built by the galactic community as neutral ground. Everything here was designed, controlled, safe. A group of cadets stood waiting near the landing pad. Hana felt her stomach tighten as she looked at them. There were so many different types, tall ones, short ones, some with scales, some with fur, some that seemed to be made of crystal. One looked like it was floating in a containment suit filled with purple gas. They were all staring at the humans. "Don't look nervous," Dane whispered. "Stand straight." Hana lifted her chin. She'd spent 6 years training in martial arts back on Earth. She'd competed at the national level. She knew how to face down an opponent. This was just a different kind of ring. An alien stepped forward from the group. It was tall, maybe 7 feet, with blue skin and 4 arms. Its face was almost human-like, but the eyes were too large and completely black. "Welcome to Axiom Prime," the alien said. Its voice came out in clicks and whistles, but Hana's translator earpiece converted it to Korean. "I am Senior Cadet Vix. I will escort you to orientation." "Thank you," Dane said. He was the oldest of the 5 humans and had been chosen as their informal leader. "We appreciate the welcome." Vix's expression didn't change. Hana wasn't sure if it could. "Follow me. Do not wander. The academy grounds are large and you are not yet authorized for free movement." They walked through the academy grounds in a tight group. The other cadets followed at a distance, watching. Hana could hear them talking in languages her translator couldn't quite catch. But she didn't need a translation to understand the tone. Curiosity, amusement, contempt. The buildings were incredible. Each one was a different shape, designed to accommodate different species. Some had wide doors for large aliens. Others had small entrances near the ground. One building seemed to have no doors at all, just shimmering energy fields. That's the aquatic housing, Vix explained without being asked. For species that breathe water. You humans will be in Building 7. It's designed for carbon-based oxygen-breathing bipeds. How many species live there? Mira asked. 12, Vix said. Humans make 13. They reached Building 7. It looked almost normal from the outside. Earth normal, at least. The door was the right size. The windows looked like windows. Inside, though, it was different. The halls were wider than they needed to be. The ceiling was too high. Everything was built to accommodate the largest possible resident. Your rooms are on the 3rd level, Vix said. Each species has its own wing. Humans are in Wing E. Your room assignments are on your data tablets. Orientation begins in 2 hours in the main assembly hall. Do not be late. Vix turned and walked away without another word. The 5 humans stood in the empty hallway looking at each other. Well, Junho said. He was a big guy built like a fighter. That was friendly. They think we're weak, Bora said quietly. She was the youngest of them, barely 18. I could see it in their eyes. Then we proved them wrong, Hana said. She surprised herself with how firm her voice sounded. That's why we're here. They found their rooms. Hana's was small but comfortable. A bed, a desk, a private bathroom. One window that looked out over the training fields. She could see alien cadets down there, running through obstacle courses. Some were flying. Others seemed to be teleporting short distances. Hana unpacked slowly. She put her photo on the desk, set out her uniforms, placed her few personal items in the small closet. When everything was put away, she sat on the bed and let herself feel it. The fear, the doubt. The weight of being one of only 5 humans in a galaxy that didn't want them here. Her hands were shaking. She looked down at them, annoyed. These were the same hands that had won championships. The same hands that had trained for thousands of hours. She made them into fists, then released them. Better, a knock on the door made her jump. It's me, Dane's voice called. We're heading to orientation. You ready? Hana stood up, smoothed down her uniform, checked her reflection in the bathroom mirror. She looked small, young, human. Ready, she called back. The main assembly hall was enormous. It had to be to fit 200 cadets of wildly different sizes. Hana and the other humans found seats near the back. Around them, alien cadets were talking, laughing, making sounds that ranged from musical to horrifying. The lights dimmed. A figure appeared on the stage at the front. It was tall and seemed to be made entirely of white crystal. Light moved through its body in slow, beautiful patterns. Greetings, cadets, the crystal being said. Its voice was like wind chimes. I am Commandant Thrace. Welcome to the Galactic Combat Academy. The hall fell silent. You have been selected from millions of applicants, Thrace continued. Each of you represents the best your species has to offer. For the next 4 years, you will train together, learn together. Some of you will fail. This is expected. Combat training is not for the weak. Hana felt eyes turning toward the human section. Her jaw tightened. We have 5 new species joining us this year, Thrace said, including, for the first time, representatives from Earth, humanity. The whispers started immediately. Hana kept her face neutral. All cadets will be treated equally, Thrace said. The crystal body flashed brighter for a moment and the whispers stopped. There is no room for prejudice here. Only performance matters. Only results, the Commandant went on, explaining rules and schedules. Hana tried to focus, but she could feel the weight of 200 pairs of eyes. Some curious, some hostile. All of them wondering the same thing. Could humans really belong here? When orientation ended, the cadets filed out. Hana walked with Diane and Mira. Behind them, she could hear alien cadets talking. Did you see how small they are? I heard their planet has crushing gravity. How are they not stronger? They have no natural weapons. No claws, no venom, nothing. This will be entertaining. Hana's fists clenched. Mira noticed and shook her head slightly. Not here. Not now. They made it back to Building 7 without incident. In the common area of Wing E, the 5 humans gathered. First day, Junho said. We survived. Classes start tomorrow, Bora said. She looked scared. Real training. We can do this, Dane said. We trained for this. We're ready. Hana wanted to believe him. She wanted to feel confident. But as she lay in bed that night, Staring at the too-high ceiling of her alien room on an alien planet, all she could think about was those eyes. All those aliens watching, waiting for the humans to fail. She wouldn't fail. She couldn't. Too much was riding on this. Earth's reputation, humanity's future in the stars, everything. Tomorrow she would show them what a human could do. She just hoped it would be enough.